The drama begins with Sichen, who's a big fan of the pop idol Gu Ling. In the opening scene, she's changing her clothes and fantasizing about him. Just then, Gu Ling accidentally barges into the room and catches her by surprise. In the next scene, Sichen's grandmother asks her twin brother, Shiking, about his music rehearsals. In response, the latter reveals that Sichen is taking his place in their band, Zebras, due to his knee injury. Later, Sichen joins the band for practice, but being new and unfamiliar with their set, she makes several mistakes. In a flashback, we see Shiking in the hospital, convincing Sichen to cover for him in the band. Our girl initially declines, but when she learns Gu Ling is the lead, she immediately agrees. Back in the present, Sichen, disguised as her brother, participates in a performance. But her mistakes anger Gu Ling, who is unaware of the switch. During the confusion, Gu Ling enters the change room and discovers Sichen while she's changing. Startled, she quickly puts on her clothes, and Gu Ling apologizes for the awkward encounter. He asks about her music group Vibe, just as his manager informs him of a meeting with the president. This gives Sichen a chance to escape. However, she forgets her wig, and when she returns for it, she finds the event manager, Fatty, playing with it. Thankfully, Shiking has already spoken to him, and he's agreed to keep Sichen's disguised identity a secret. Following this, Sichen transforms back into her boy persona and heads to meet the president. On her way, Gu Ling stops her and questions her about her true gender. Having nowhere to go, Sichen pretends to be bullied and, in tears, accuses Gu Ling of harassment. Just then, the president arrives and discusses removing Shiking from the band. Gu Ling, however, defends him and suggests giving him another chance. The next day, Sichen is in her classroom when Fatty calls to mention that Gu Ling is visiting her college. Afraid, she leaves her class in a hurry and runs into Gu Ling outside. Luckily, she manages to escape, with Gu Ling chasing after her. Along the hallway, Lee, President Oilian's son, pulls her aside, saving her from being caught. It turns out that Lee is also a Gu Ling fan and knows about Sichen, pretending to be her brother. To keep her secret safe, Sichen agrees to get Gu Ling's autograph for Lee. The two exchange clothes, and while Lee leaves wearing a dress, Sichen goes out as Shiking. Gu Ling notices her and asks about the other girl. Sichen says she's just a fan, but Gu Ling is suspicious and warns her to avoid romantic engagements during the competition. At night, Gu Ling is on his computer wondering why he feels strange when Shiking is near. He begins to question his own identity, and while in the bathroom pondering this, he runs into another band member. Startled, he immediately calls a group meeting and announces that they must stay with their own group members during the competition. This worries Sichen, as she's concerned about revealing her true gender. The next day, Fatty accompanies Sichen to the competition and advises her to stay away from Gu Ling. At the same time, reporters arrive and start asking questions. Fatty encourages the other two members, Bao and Qi, to give it their best and destroy their opponents. When the rival team, UFO, arrives, Gu Ling warns Sichen to be careful around their leader, Chen. Next, Zebra kinda blows it in the demo round and are left to sleep in a tent, while the others get a fancy villa. Fatty brings some carpets for them, but Bao and Qi grab them before Sichen can. After a while, Gu Ling arrives and points out the limited space in the tents. He asks her to stay with him and shows her how to set up the tents and other things. While they're doing so, Gu Ling accidentally falls on Sichen, and they get tangled in the ropes. After a bit of a struggle, they manage to free themselves, but it's a bit awkward. Afterward, Gu Ling talks about finding out her secret. Hearing this, the latter gets worried, but it turns out he's referring to the girl he met at school, thinking she's Shiking's sister. The next morning, Sichen has trouble posing for a photo shoot, and the other band members laugh at her. Seeing this, Gu Ling steps in to help her, and his female assistant gets jealous seeing them so close. Later, Sichen thanks Gu Ling for his help and offers a water bottle as a gift. To his surprise, Gu Ling's heart races, and he wonders why he's feeling this way around a boy. In the next scene, a photo of Gu Ling and Sichen go viral on the internet, and rumors start spreading about them. Worried about being disqualified, they decide to find the sneaky bastard taking the photos. To do so, Gu Ling suggests they put on an act. Later in the evening when they're close, Lee secretly spies on them but gets caught. However, Sichen handles the situation and gives Lee the autograph she promised. After a while, Fatty's assistant approaches the two and informs them that the next scene involves swimming. Sichen gets anxious and shows up at the pool wearing a diving suit to conceal her true gender. Unfortunately, her teammates tease her for her feminine figure, not realizing that beneath the facade is an actual woman. Shortly after, Gu Ling arrives and leads the group in some exercises. While the leader takes Sichen for a swim, they spot someone taking their pictures. Fortunately, they manage to catch the person, who turns out to be Gu Ling's assistant. When asked why she did it, she explains that she didn't want Gu Ling to get distracted. She then pleads with Gu Ling to not fire her from the job, and the latter forgives her. Later, Gu Ling and Sichen have dinner together, but some food gets caught in her throat, and Gu Ling heroically performs the Heimlich maneuver and saves her from choking. The scene then shifts to the next day when everyone prepares for a survival game in a jungle-like setting. All the participants find a survival box except Sichen, who calls Guling for help before falling unconscious. He rushes to her side, picks her up, and brings her to a bonfire, even giving her his jacket. Being close to Sichen, Guling feels his heart racing and realizes he's falling for her. However, he still doesn't know that she's a girl until her wig falls off, finally revealing her true identity. Shocked, Guling stares at her until he hears the other group members approaching. To protect her secret, he puts a cap on her head and carries her to their room. Fatty then discreetly picks up the wig and clears the area. In the room, Guling tucks her into bed and opens up about his true feelings. He confesses that he's happy she's a girl and wants to take care of her in every situation. Sichen, pretending to be asleep, hears this but doesn't react. Just then, Chen arrives and overhears Guling. Our hero notices him and agrees to help with the photo shoot to keep his interaction with Sichen a secret. In the next scene, Sichen dresses up as her brother and starts looking for Guling. Unfortunately, she sees him with Chen and assumes he's abandoned her upon discovering her true identity. She assumes that he's only interested in boys. Meanwhile, Guling is busy with the photo shoot, so he misses Sichen's calls. Upset, she goes to the makeup room and cuts her hair to look like a boy. Later, as Guling talks to Sichen, his assistant arrives and informs him about the rain outside, hinting that she can't go home. Guling offers her an umbrella, but she ruins it by poking holes into it. Because of this, Guling agrees to let her stay the night with them. The problem is that there's only 2 rooms available. Our girl offers to bunk with the assistant, but Guling insists the assistant should sleep alone. In reality, he just wants Sichen by his side. Later that night, as they share a bed, their hands accidentally touch, startling them awake. This causes an awkward moment, but they snap out of it by discussing the upcoming fireworks party. The following day, everyone gathers for the fireworks party, and the rules are explained. They must wear masks and choose partners. Without hesitation, the game begins, and Sichen approaches a guy wearing a red pumpkin mask. He starts complimenting her and confessing his feelings, and Sichen assumes it's Chen. She confidently tells him that she likes someone else, and the guy is shocked, revealing himself to be Guling. He curiously asks her about the person, but Sichen remains silent. Suddenly, fireworks light up the sky, and Guling takes Sichen's hand. He confesses that before discovering she was a girl, he believed he was gay. However, after talking to Fatty and learning that she's his fan, he regrets not understanding her feelings. In response, Sichen tells Guling that she admires his music, but doesn't have a crush on him. She reveals her feelings for a senior who supported her during tough times. Surprised, Guling says he was acting and it was all just a part of a show. He then leaves and Sichen messages her senior, Mr. F, about Guling's confession. Next, Sichen decides to clarify things with Guling. She approaches him but accidentally talks to a masked Chen. Their time for the competition runs out, and they're made partners, forcing them to work together on composing a song. Neither Sichen nor Guling are thrilled about this. In the next scene, Sichen and Chen perform their song in front of the judges and the audience. Everyone loves the song, but Guling appears on stage and reveals that some lines were copied. Sichen is shocked and tries to defend her song. Unfortunately, Chen admits to the plagiarism and apologizes. In the aftermath, reporters turn to Sichen, bombarding her with questions about the song. With encouragement from Guling, she finally defends the song as original and of her own creation. The president also supports and expresses trust in her. Later, Sichen's grandmother arrives and scolds her for leaving school for music. During their conversation, the president realizes that Sichen is actually a girl disguised as her brother Siking. When Guling comes to meet the grandmother, she humorously mentions making him her grandson-in-law, but Sichen signals him not to take it seriously. Later, Grandma asks Guling if he likes her granddaughter, and he nods in agreement. However, when she talks about marriage, he says he's not ready. Grandma then reveals Siching's dream of being a musician, inspired by her online friend, Mr. F, who became a lead singer. Hearing the name Mr. F, Guling smiles and admits he was getting jealous. Afterward, Sichen receives a message from Mr. F encouraging her to pursue her dreams. Meanwhile, Guling finds a video of Chen receiving the plagiarized song lyrics from the competition. He shows the video to everyone, proving Sichen's innocence. He also talks to Grandma and assures her of Sichen's pure passion for music. As a result, Grandma agrees to let her chase her dreams. In the next event, all the participants are asked to choose an instrument to play. Sichen selects one, but has no idea how to play it. Guling tries to help, but they struggle. Next, posing as Mr. F, Guling messages Sichen and invites her to a face-to-face meeting on the following day at 3 p.m. Shortly after, in the bathroom, Guling tells Sichen that she needs to come to practice at 3 p.m. the next day. He's doing this to see whom Sichen will choose. The following day, Sichen arrives at the practice location and messages Mr. F, apologizing for not being able to keep her promise. Suddenly, someone kidnaps her and locks her in a room. Later, Guling is also brought into the room and the door is locked from the outside. The duo attempt to open the door, but fail. At the same time, Guling notices that Sichen is feeling cold and offers his jacket. He suggests she rest to avoid getting sick and jeopardizing their upcoming performance. While they're in close quarters, Sichen discovers a note in the room, which outlines a choice. Either she reveals her true identity to everyone or kisses Guling to be released. To her astonishment, Guling kisses her and reveals that he is Mr. F. He expresses his gratitude for her unwavering support and helping him reach his current stage. In response, Sichen kisses him back, admitting that it was just to escape the room. Fortunately, Bao and Qi arrive to rescue them. Later, Sichen confronts Guling's assistant and learns that she locked them in the room. As they talk, Li appears and threatens to leak the video of them in the room. He then advises Sichen to distance herself from Guling if she wants his fans to continue supporting him. In the next scene, Guling wishes Sichen the best on her performance and even offers her his lucky necklace. However, she declines, noticing a CCTV camera behind her. She is certainly surveilling them, looking for anything to potentially expose her. After this, Sichen puts on an exceptional performance, earning applause from the audience. The next day, Li invites Sichen for a meeting and discovers that her online friend, F, is actually Guling. He warns her to stay away from Guling or face elimination from the competition. Back at the competition, a new mentor, Lu Min, is introduced. The participants are asked to choose their mentor, either Guling or Lu Min, based on mutual understanding. To everyone's surprise, Sichen selects Lu Min, and Chen does the same. Guling is taken aback by Sichen's choice and remains in his seat. Outside, Li meets with Sichen and encourages her to continue avoiding Guling. Unbeknownst to them, Guling overhears their conversation and realizes that Sichen is doing this at Li's behest. Afterward, Lu Min assigns a task to her group members. They must dress up with whatever is provided. Unfortunately, when Sichen is about to change her outfit, she hurries to the bathroom, allowing her competitor, Chu, to switch her dress. When she returns, she finds a dress waiting for her and worries about revealing her true identity. In the following scene, while Sichen is walking outside, she sees Chen talking to his troublesome bandmates, who are forcing him into schemes without his consent. She understands Chen's predicament and offers to help him. Before parting ways, they promise to give their best in their performance. Next, as Sichen is preparing for the performance, she feels unwell and collapses. Luckily, Guling arrives in time and takes her to another room. Lu Min also enters the room and notices blood on Sichen's dress, realizing that she's started her period. So, without wasting any time, she helps her change clothes. Once everything is sorted, Lu Min asks Guling to take Sichen away before anyone else sees them together. At that moment, a group of reporters arrive and question Lu Min about the girl Guling is with. When she remains silent, news of Guling being seen with his girlfriend spreads all over the internet. Due to the news, Guling's company faces financial issues, and the president is unhappy about it. Sichen discovers this and approaches the president, confessing her responsibility for the situation. She then asks the president to reveal her true identity to save Guling's image from further damage. Eventually, the president encourages Sichen to win the competition and urges Guling to address his love life for the company's sake. During rehearsal for the competition, Lu Min realizes that Sichen has a beautiful singing voice and suggests that she should sing instead of playing the drums. Later, while Sichen is practicing her singing, another participant, Chu, takes pictures of her and mentions her resemblance to Guling's rumored girlfriend. He is actually aware of her identity. Chu then offers Sichen a bottle of water to drink, which she accepts without hesitation. The next day when Guling comes to her room with soup and a rose, Sichen tries to express her gratitude, but finds she can't speak. She realizes it's due to the water she drank from Chu the other day. Concerned, Guling takes her to a doctor for a checkup, who reveals due to the inflammation, she won't be able to sing for at least 3 days. Later, Sichen is approached by a representative from a rival company who offers her a contract to win the competition if she treats Guling as an enemy. In response, she tears up the contract and declines. Gradually, her voice returns and she gets ready to perform in the finals. After some time, Sichen learns that Guling won't attend the finals due to personal reasons. She remembers his promise to support her like family and begins messaging him. Right then, Chu approaches her and encourages her to reveal her true identity, as it would be for the best. Later, Chen meets Sichen and encourages her not to follow Chu's advice, revealing he's working for a rival company. However, Sichen feels that revealing her identity is important at this moment. In the following scene, Sichen meets Bai and Qi, motivating them to give their best in the competition. She does the same with Chen and expresses her gratitude to Guling's assistant and Fatty for their help in the competition. Meanwhile, Guling leaves an interview when the director pressures him to reveal information about his girlfriend. Finally, Sichen takes the stage. As her throat hasn't fully recovered, she performs a dance. Guling arrives on time and sits with Grandma in the audience. To everyone's surprise, after her performance, Sichen reveals her true identity as a girl who loves music. She apologizes to everyone and resigns as a contestant before leaving the competition. The scene then fast forwards a year, and Guling's birthday seems to be approaching. The president suggests celebrating it, but Guling declines and leaves the office. Outside, he reflects on how Shichen left the competition, allowing Chu to win. He admits that he still remembers and misses her deeply. While in thought, he encounters Li and questions him about Shichen. Unfortunately, Li has no information but invites Guling to be a judge on a new singing show. Excited, Guling accepts the offer and begins selecting new talent. In the final scene, after Guling picks a few contestants and prepares to leave, Fatty approaches him and urges him to listen to one more contestant. Guling initially declines, but Fatty persists until he agrees. Inside the audition room, Guling is surprised to see lyrics similar to the ones Shichen wrote a year earlier. His shock deepens when the contestant begins singing, and it turns out to be none other than Shichen, who has spent the entire year honing her singing skills. She has now become a talented vocalist. The drama ends with Guling looking at Shichen with pride and happiness.